Hey guys, Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys. Back with another episode review of more as I pull it up. If it shows up, my favorite, well, one of my favorite shows, my assassin anime. If I can find what it's freaking called. Jeez Louise, I'm so stupid. My status is an assassin. We are back with another new episode, and this episode by far was my favorite. Holy hell, man. Holy hell. Crazy plot twist after crazy plot twist after... Dude, MC Bags the waifu? 5 episodes in! And... Or 7 episodes in. And I take it, bro. I'll take it, bro. Alright. So, we pick up where we last left off, where, Akira was going up against one of the demons, right? But then resources come in, and then you have it to where this other demon shows up, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm going to have to kill you on behalf of the demon, on the demon lord, right?" Now Akira is low on mana, and he can't really use his shadow magic because he's basically wiped out. He's out of his mana reserves, right? So, albeit, right? Now, eventually at one point, Amelia gets forced back, right? And gets knocked out, right? And obviously, Demon is taunting Akira, saying, like, look at those. I know you want to kill me, right? So this is when Akira starts his fight with this other demon, right? And sadly, Akira, is losing the fight against this other demon, right? Now, eventually, Knight gets involved and is like, Master, I can be able to beat this guy. Just remove, our pact. And the whole pact is, we know, if one of them dies, the other one dies because they signed a treaty. But Akira's like, no, I'm not going to do this. And Knight's like, what? Are you crazy? And he's like, look, let's do this together. And I think together we can be able to beat him. And one of the more shocking moments is you have Knight transform into his master. And I was like, oh, and now Knight's like, look, I can only keep this up for a few minutes, so we got to wrap this up fast, right? And we actually see it, in this fight. They're actually getting the upper hand on the demon dude, right? Their combined efforts are working together, and Akira's like, man, if only, I could actually work with the captain like this would be amazing, for real. But they're actually putting in work together. They're actually kicking this dude's ass. And I'm like, and it gets to the point where it's like, it's about to be the final blow, and I'm like, yes, finish this guy off, right? And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, bro, he gets impaled, and Amelia impales him. And I'm like, what the fudge? I'm just like, dog, crazy. Amelia and then realizes what she's done, and she's like, oh my god, Akira. And she obviously, and we found out like the demon basically has like this ability that can control people and kind of make them their puppet, and it also enhances their abilities or their latent potential that they have. So it makes, and we know Amelia is a fairly strong character. Now Akira falls over and he's damn near dying, and obviously Amelia's like, I'm so sorry, Akira, I didn't mean anything by it, please, I'm so sorry. And obviously Akira's like, it's all right, I don't blame you for this. And Akira's trying to fight, the death and the death's door thing, because he's like, I can't go out like this. I have this goal to avenge the captain and everything. And then all of a sudden, that thing we saw 2 episodes ago after he used the shadow magic and he passed out, the same thing happened to where just the spirit takes over him and he just becomes OP as shit. And he's basically telling the demon, you're about to get yours, right? Because he gets back up, his wound, he's still damaged, right? And essentially what happens is he's taking this guy down to the point the demon has to retreat. Now eventually Akira snaps back into reality, and the demon in a last ditch effort, is like, no, I'm not gonna allow this. So he goes up to Amelia to try to impale her with like one of his magic attacks, and Akira goes to try to protect her, which would have ended up getting him probably impaled. But then we have the dude show up and legitimately, end the whole fight. Demon obviously retreats and is like, yeah, okay, you'll live to see another day, but next time I'm gonna kill you, right? So that's the whole dude, right? Obviously, Akira's happy that he showed up, and eventually, what we find out, he just passes out, right, and he knocks out. So some time obviously passes by. Some time, actually, some days pass by. So Akira wakes up. Basically, Knight is there. She's like, "Oh well, congratulations, Master. You finally woken up." And he's like, "Oh, hey, Knight, how you doing?" And then he sees Amelia, and I did like this comment where he's like, "Well, at least I'm." Well, and he asks, he's like, "Okay, how long has it been?" And obviously, Knight's like, "Well, it's been 3 days." And she's like, and Knight's like, "Man, you've been sleeping like you're sleeping beauty, sleeping for 3 days." And obviously, Akira's like, "Well, I actually kind of needed that rest, to be honest. And honestly, to be honest, like, it isn't too bad waking up to seeing Amelia." Which, listen, man, I don't fault him. I would legit, if you're telling me I'm waking up to an elf girl like Amelia who's a snack, I'd be saying the same exact shit. Um, so obviously, the one dude comes back in and he's like, "Good, it's nice to see that you're up, right?" And obviously, Akira was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks." And then he also says, he's like, "Do you know where, Elena went, right?" And dude's like, "Oh, well, she went back to the kingdom, right, to go do her princess shit." And obviously, Akira's like, "Well, when I see her again, I have to thank her for what she did, for helping me and everything." And obviously, dude's like, "Oh, really? Okay." Now, I thought, like, oh, no, she actually stayed around, right? No. Shocking twist is we see Akira's classmates actually show up. And I'm like, oh wow, I thought he would like reunite with them like maybe end of the season to tease a potential season 2, right? Um but no, seventh episode, they already, ran in back into each other like, "Akira, I hope you're doing well." And Akira's like shocked and he's like, "What? You guys got out of there?" They're like, "Yeah, we broke the curse ability and stuff like that. It was not only thanks to you, but it was also thanks to one of the royal army knights who ended up now getting kicked out, right?" About, and stuff like that. So it was cool to see, right? So it ends up having a discussion where basically they're kind of catching up about what's been going on and stuff like that. And meanwhile, in the meantime, they basically ask Akira, like, "Hey man, look, let's get to the bottom thing. Our goal right now is to defeat the Demon Lord and everything, right? And if we defeat the Demon Lord, maybe we have a chance to go home, right? We can work with the kingdom, potentially, defeat the Demon King. We can go back home and then everything, right? And stuff." Now, Akira is just like, now, Knight is kind of giving them some attitude, right? And they're not taking too kindly to Knight, right? His classmates. So Akira's like, ask Knight respectfully, like, "Hey, Knight, can you just leave? Let this be a conversation between me and my classmates, right?" And Knight's like, "All right, master, as you please." Now, Akira kind of like pushes back against the idea of working with them to defeat the Demon Lord, because Akira's like, "Well, look, I got my own shit I gotta go take care of. And on top of it, I don't want to work with that kingdom because that's the kingdom that was responsible for killing Commander Soren and wrongfully accusing him. So no, I'm not going to work with the kingdom, right? Because that's stupid." And, Akira does give them an ultimatum. He's like, "Look, if you're serious about working together, fine. I'll work, but let's just let it be known, like, I'm not going to be your lapdog, or I'm not going to be your knight in shining armor." Because they know he's definitely stronger than all of them. And he basically told them, "Look, man, don't expect me to bail you out of the situation, right? So I'm just going to look out for me, and whatever I think is the best course of action, that's what I'm going to do. So if it means, hey, this is my ticket to go home, I'm going and taking my ass home, buddy, right? So just let it be known, like, I will if I see a moment, I will essentially go and use that moment. So don't act like, I'm all buddy buddy and stuff like that. So yeah, now meanwhile, Amelia's listening to this conversation. You can clearly see she's obviously a little bit upset and sad. So she ends up walking out. After Akira says what he says, he leaves, and his classmates basically talking. They're like, "Why was like the two girls are just like, why would he just talk to us like that? Like he wouldn't accept why wouldn't he accept our help and things like that, right?" And you just have it to where obviously the other character's like, well, that is Akira, and to be honest, can we blame him for feeling the way he feels? He is stronger than us, so I guess I don't blame him. So it seems like his classmates are not taking things too hard or being too mean or upset about it. But again, Akira clearly is okay with working with them, right? It's just he knows, look, man, I'm in the best interest of me, right? So it's clear. It's like he's going to protect Knight, and he's definitely going to protect Amelia at any cost if it comes to their lives being in hand. That's only what it says to me. And then you get the end of the episode to where you get this conversation between Amelia and Akira. Now, Akira walks up, and he's like, hey, I know you're upset or sad about something. Like, you don't mind telling me, right? And she's like, with you talking about going home and everything, it upsets me and it frustrates me and makes me sad because it's like, are you gonna forget? Are you gonna go home and are you gonna forget about me? Are you just gonna act as if I was never in your life to begin with? And she makes valid points. It's like, you're talking about going home and everything, and it's like once you go home, like I don't even know if I'll be able to come with you. And one, I won't even be able to see you again. Will you even remember me? Right? And she talks about when I was being controlled, I 100% regretted what I did and I felt guilt for what I did. But after some time passed, I didn't really, that guilt washed away and felt like there was nothing there. And I guess it was kind of her way of saying maybe, it was okay for maybe him to maybe die because then maybe she could forgo her feelings for Akira and she wouldn't have to be worried about him going home. And then basically we know, since she's basically in love with the dude, right, her feelings will be no more. And that's why she kind of felt maybe relieved that if he did die, well, okay, maybe, albeit I love this guy, maybe by him dying, maybe it was for the best, right? So then I could just move on, right? And I'm just like, and obviously Akira's like, hey, don't think like that, right? And he basically like, look, he grabs her hand and he's like, in my world, when you basically make a promise or a vow to be together forever, you basically put a ring on it, right? So I'm just like, wait, don't tell me this man is legitimately gonna tell her like, hey, I want to take you home with me, and when you go and when you come to my world and you come with me, I'm gonna put a ring on your finger. I'm like, no shot, bro. Ain't no way we're finally getting an MC that is gonna be just honest with his feelings, right? And he grabs his sword and he basically cuts himself, right? He basically makes a cut, and she's like, Akira, what are you doing? And at first I thought, I'm like, bro, is this man gonna cut his finger off, bro? As some sort of crazy declaration of love? No, he just makes a scar on his finger, right? And basically it's in the form of a circle, like in the form of like where a ring would be put on. And basically is like, by this alone, this is my dedication, this is my vow to you, that basically I love you and I want to be with you till the very end, right? And I'm like, yo, what? We get MC's confessing his feelings to the main girl? You don't even get this in izakais, because typically izakais, they always put it in interpretation, like clearly in these isekai shows, yes, you're gonna have your main male character accompanied by the main female character, which typically is the person he's shipped with, right? And typically with these isekai shows, it isn't probably until like the end of the series, maybe, that they end up actually hooking up said characters, right? Or they do the will you won't they type of tease thing of like, oh, yada yada yada, oh, it looks like they're gonna freaking bang right here. Oh, no, they don't do that. Or you think this is the moment they're gonna kiss and make out. No, they don't. And this show said, oh no, we're not doing any of those isekai will they won't they tropes, right? And essentially, he makes his vow. Amelia obviously is shocked because this dude that she's in love with basically told his feelings to her. And again, like I said, I made in my review the last, I think 2 weeks ago, the title says it all. After Amelia getting, kidnapped, that's when he 100% realized, like, no, she means a lot to me. I care about her. And she's someone special to me. And I don't want to lose someone like that in my life again, like I lost Commander Soren, right? And so Amelia, in her response is, she basically is obviously shocked by this, but she's like, I love you too, Akira. So they basically embrace, they hug, and not only does he have the whole thing, she cuts her finger to make the declaration, and in a weird way, that's kind of their symbolization of a ring for both of them. And basically, they declare their love for each other. They say how they're gonna be there and be together with each other and live with each other for the rest of their lives. And I'm just like, okay, here we go. The only other way is they top it up with a kiss. And I'm just watching them, so I'm like, please kiss, please kiss, please kiss. But I highly doubt they're gonna kiss. And then at the end of the episode, she looks at him, she wraps her arms around his neck, and they start kissing. And I'm like, trifecta, yes! I'm like, fuck yes! Finally! We don't have a dumb dick male MC who, again, plays stupid to the main female character's romance, or the fact that they like them or have some sort of love or feelings for them, and the main MC does not try to like push it aside like the feelings mean nothing, or he tries to play it off like he doesn't like her, but in reality we know he likes her. Thank Christ they didn't do this, because a few episodes ago they did the whole will they won't they thing about sleeping in the same bed together, and obviously Akira didn't want to do that because he's like, whoa. And it was clear like Amelia wanted to like not only sleep with him, but she wanted to go damn near all the way with him, right? Now look, man, I don't know if by next week's episode we'll see, them waking up in the same bed together after they probably would have maybe got it on. I'm guessing, like, I'm sorry, how are you gonna propose to this girl? And how are you going to declare your love? And next thing you know, nightfall hits, right? And, hey, you're not getting it on in the bedroom, right? I'm just saying, like, I would be very shocked if they wake up, Akira's classmates walk in, and they're just like, hey, Akira, you ready to head out? Whoa. I know, sorry, man, I didn't know you were, with your woman. We'll back out, right? I perfectly could see it next week. They wake up, clearly they, you'll see like they're, obviously she won't have no clothes on top, and he'll obviously be shirtless, and now only just telling me like, oh no, they made their proposal and they got it on first night on the job after their whole thing. But I was absolutely shocked and floored. Like, one, the action was crazy good. The freaking plot twist of future wife impaling future husband was twisting. The fact that the classmates, dude, I legitimately thought the classmates, the whole thing, and I think I said this in my early episodes, right? I thought the classmate thing, he would meet up with his classmates like end of the season, right? Where they potentially tease a season 2 where him and Amelia ends up going on an adventure with the classmates to go help them do what they need to do and shit like that. And I mean, that's what was going to happen. No, that shit doesn't happen at all. Episode 7, already meeting it, and it seems like from the next episode preview, they're going to be working together. So that's good. And then all of a sudden, you cap off another shocking thing about this episode. The main MC of the isekai, a male character, You know, bro, he already pulled the female MC side companion already. He bagged her, and he just didn't even bag her. He put a ring on it, and he married her, and he basically proposed to her, saying like, "I want to be with you, Amelia." Now it is going to be interesting. Does this mean like, okay, if they do find a way to go back to the real world, does that mean like he's going to take her back home with her? I guess it would make sense because it's like, albeit she would be leaving her home, she'd be leaving her world, and she would be leaving her family, right? It would make sense for her to probably like legitimately say, no, I made this vow, I made this promise to be with you forever, right? Till you essentially. And it's funny because I think that word in that proposal, like, you know, don't die young on me, and I'm like, okay. And typically elves have a longer lifespans than humans, so dog, Akira would be like damn near 70 years old, and this girl will still look as young as she looks like now, right? But honestly, I could perfectly see it how by the end of it, maybe they do find a way to go back home. But Akira, realistically, maybe he's just like accepts the fact, like, no, I gotta stay here in this world because I want to stay here for the girl that I love, and I'm gonna stay here in this world. So, hey, you go tell my family I'm okay. I'm somewhere else, and I'm living a great life. I could perfectly see it that he just stays. But I don't know if this show is obviously concluded. I feel like this is probably an ongoing series, but I could perfectly see it by the end of the series. Like I could see it after he does what he does. One or two of the endings would be like he either stays with Amelia in this world, or Amelia just goes with him to the human world and lives with him for the rest of his life, right? Which would be crazy. So I perfectly can see it, but I was just shocked. Like, we got a confession already from both characters. Not only, I would like, at first I was thinking like, oh, this is gonna be the part where Amelia's just gonna confess. You know, she's gonna be upset that like he wants to stay. He's gonna obviously want to go home, and I'm just feeling the same. I'm like, this would be the part when Amelia just says like, I love you and I don't want you to go. But I was more shocked that Akira straight up said first, like, I love you, Amelia. I'm like, no shot, they actually broke an anime rule. And honestly, this is my issue when it comes to animes, whether in isekai and you have the will they won't they. That's why I just don't like these teases and shit like that where they play it all the way down the road where it's like, oh, you know, by the end of the story, they're more than likely going to get together. They're just going to keep doing the will they won't they. Like, you know, I watch Shield Hero. I love Shield Hero as much as the next guy, but I hate the will they won't they with Nafumi and Ralph Talia. I hate that shit. Because it's clear, you know, more than likely, Raphtalia and Nafumi are clearly endgame. Albeit Nafumi sees Raphtalia as like a daughter. It's clear, you know, he cares a lot about her, and I could clearly think, I would clearly believe at some point he'd probably stop looking at her like that, and he'd be like, you know, she's actually kind of attractive. Like, I hate that whole type of isekai mindset where you have a hot, you know, female main character alongside your main male character, and the main male character kind of plays it off like, oh, it's nothing, while the main female character clearly is giving him hints like, hey, I want you, and clearly, like, you know, she acts like, he acts dense about it. I'm just happy that this show didn't make Akira dense, because I thought, you know, the bed scene right in the motel or the hotel room they were staying in, or the inn they were staying in, I thought they were going to do that whole thing, right? And thank God they didn't. And again, like I said, I think, and you can say like, bro, why would freaking, like, dog, they haven't spent enough time together to clearly do that, to feel, well, for Akira to feel that way about her. It makes sense why she felt the way about him, because dude literally saved her, right? And he's been protecting her all this time, right? But, you know, again, it's like I chalk it up to the last two episodes. He's been through some pain, and he's been through some loss with somebody that was close to him in Commander Soren, right? A master person he basically called his master, right? And he, over the, you know, days he got to know Amelia in the dungeon and work with her, right? You know, he actually genuinely actually cared about her and everything. And we saw that when the sister was kind of under the influence of being evil and shit like that, and stuff like that, right? And you can clearly tell like he cared about Amelia, right? And you know, you saw when she was kidnapped and he heard about it, he was frustrated because it's like it's happening again. I'm gonna lose somebody that I care about deeply, and I think that's when the light bulb went off, saying realized like he cares a lot about Amelia, and it isn't just care, he loves Amelia because Amelia's been with him this entire step of the way up to this point, and he's already lost somebody that he cared about deeply, and now he's gonna lose another companion, and he's gonna be all alone again. And I think the reason why he proposed her and why he admitted the fact that and he fell in love with Amelia is because now he realizes how much Amelia means to him. And it isn't just some platonic friendship or platonic love. He genuinely loves her because she loves him and she gives him the respect that obviously she deserves and stuff like that. So, hold on, guys. Okay, sorry for that. But yeah, but again, it makes sense on his case because he now views Amelia as someone important to him, and typically when you view someone important to you, and you know they're lost and everything, or and then they're gone for a long period of time, and you don't know what's happening, then you're gonna be worried about them, and he was worried sick about her, right? And you see, he basically went berserk after that. So, yeah, we'll see where it's gonna go. In the next episode preview, it looks like I guess they're gonna go to this ball or something like that. We see this ugly looking dude, you know, spying on Amelia, and it's like, oh brother, here we go again. I do hope that Amelia does defend herself now, and I hope it's not now the fact that he did propose. She ain't gonna be like the typical damsel in distress now, to where dude's gonna have to save her at every point, you know, he sees. But you know, overall, really good episode. Definitely enjoyed this episode of my status as an assassin, and I definitely can't wait to see where the show is going to be going from then on. But yeah, man, again, like I said, I was shocked at the ending, bro. And again, he made a proposal, put a ring on it, and they kissed. I swear, man, next week we better start the episode with them waking up in the morning. They clearly did the sex. And then his classmates walk in and said, Akira, hey man, we're ready to head out. Oh. Clearly see what you guys are doing. It's gonna be even more funnier when Night walks in and she's like, oh, nice to know. So did you guys, or it would be more funny if actually they do cut to Night. Night is right there. They wake up. And maybe they have that nice moment where they kiss and it looks like they're about to maybe, you know, get some morning stuff in, right? And then Night is like, oh. And Night's just like, oh, do I need to see myself out the door? I didn't mean to interrupt, but I guess you guys must have had a wonderful night. And then they could obviously be both flustered by that and be like, get out, Night! I perfectly could see that happening at the start of the episode next week. That would be funny. That would be funny if that happens. I hope it does happen, to be honest. That actually would be a comedic scene. So, anyways, I'm gonna go over, guys. Catch you guys in the next video. And, yeah. But till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night with this video. And I will see you guys on the next episode review. Till then, guys. Peace.